Okay, I think we're good here. I think we're going right. We're going. Yeah, it's going. Okay. Hey there. My name is Storm Chandler. I'm in Tucson, Arizona. I haven't done a video in a while. A little about me. If you followed any of what I've done over the last couple of years, I'd taken a little break. Um, but I'm 47. Um, I'm in and down for the night. Um, I have previous experience in forensic pathology and animal behavior. And the videos that I've done lately have been on, me and my personal life and my goings on and my experiences that I went through with a narcissist and narcissistic recovery, being on the receiving end of a narcissistic person. And so I've been doing, private at home therapy for a while. It's gone really well. I'm getting myself into shape. I'm still working on a couple of bad habits, but overall, it's gone really well. My weight's doing really well. I'm almost up to 130, so that's a good thing. I'm still chain smoking, and I've still got my, coffee in hand, but one struggle, one problem at a time. So I thought I'd hop on and chit chat with everyone for a minute, let everybody know that I'm doing all right. Everyone here at the house is doing all right. Um, our monsoon season has started here in Arizona, so still like in the 80s here, even though it's going on almost 10:30 at night. So as soon as I'm done with this, I got my hair up and everything. I'm gonna grab me a bath and probably crash. So if I look a little disheveled, that's why. Um, I had my Friday online therapy session, and it went really well. And we were talking about, you know, needs and wants and desires. And one of the things that had come up was, which is very, very important for everyone to understand. And it sounds easy on the surface, but some of us don't get it. Some of us are late bloomers, and that's okay. But it's that fundamental question of being able to answer if you're on a date or if you're meeting someone new and you get tripped up and you're not sure what to say because you're nervous, they're nervous, you're meeting someone new, you're recovering from an abusive relationship, or you're recovering from coming out of a relationship with someone who's BBD or NPD. And that's a hard long road. There's no immediate recovery from that. It takes time, and everyone goes about it in their own way. But when you finally get to that threshold of you're ready to start getting out again and meeting people and that kind of thing on your own terms, you're learning a new way to do things. You're approaching people differently in a new, hopefully better educated light. You've done some studying, you've done a lot of talking, you've done some therapy, you've done some reading. And so you're learning in the process too as you go and figuring yourself out. And one of the things that always comes up, though, that trips a lot of people up, is when you get asked about what do you want. And on the surface, it sounds easy, but it's actually a lot deeper than that because, according to my doctor, my therapist that I'm seeing, and she is a great, person. She was saying a lot of what she sees is they're very vague, general surface answers. You go into, your astrology, or you go into what type of dog you like, or you go into what colors you like, or, what sign you are. And, those types of things that are used for a vague sense of compatibility. And you get asked the question about, well, what do you want? Well, and a lot of people say, well, they want someone who's caring, who's sensitive, and who's honest, and supports their political views and supports their religion. And yeah, those are important things. And my doctor, my therapist, that what I was in therapy with this past Friday, and I wanted to take a day or two to gel on it before I got into it because I really wanted to plot it over and process my therapy a little bit. But what she was saying was is that in some of my instances and some of my past relationships that weren't healthy, she was saying in a way without realizing it, I kind of sort of set myself up. And that's where I have to take some responsibility in that, because in those first initial meetings and those first initial datings, there were red flags there. There were red flags there that I saw, that were told, that were conveyed, that were right there to my face, and I didn't see them because, in part, I didn't want to see them. And in that conversation, when someone asks, "What do you want?" a lot of us are not really clear because we think on some level that we're dealing with somebody who's similar to us, quote unquote normal. You think you're carrying on a conversation with somebody who's really understanding what you mean as far as context, and that's not always the case. And so in my particular situation, she posed the same question to me. Storm, tell me, for example, if we were on a date, I met you for the first time, what do you want? If I asked you, what did you want out of a relationship? Tell me. And she was saying, just approach it with a relaxed attitude. Give me honest answers, but keep it brief, keep it short, get to the point. And so I did. I went off the cuff, and in my head rattling off, I told her what I thought I wanted, what I was looking for out of a relationship. And so this went on for about 3 or 4 minutes, and she was like, "Okay, time out. Stop. Stop. Stop." Right? She's like, I see where you're going wrong, but it's not an uncommon mistake, because a lot of us know intellectually what we want, but we're not necessarily always the best at conveying it or being clear in what we want. And so we allow for runaround room. She was saying the things that I was describing, which is what a lot of people do, the things that I was describing are behaviors that I want, which is not the same thing as being clear as what you want or what you need. And that we have to remember that a lot of the time we don't have control over other people's behaviors. And so that's where you get into a gray area about like not being very clear in what you want. And so as you're carrying out this dialogue, if someone that's dishonest or personality disordered or has malicious intent or malign intent is sitting there, you rattling off these traits of behaviors that you want, not necessarily in the concrete of what it is that you absolutely need and want out of a relationship. They're just going to mimic back to you in that encounter, that first, that second, that third date. Those things that you've already named off to, that are behaviors, not actual concrete needs and wants that you have that should have priority. You're telling them what to say, and so they're just parroting or mimicking back to you what you just told them. And so you're not getting a real honest answer back from the person that you're talking to. And before you realize it, in a lot of these instances, you're setting yourself up to be used, abused, and discarded. And so that's where some of that lies. And so I've realized in looking back and in looking forward, I have to accept responsibility for the way that I communicate, the things that I say, and when I'm carrying out that conversation, that I'm really concrete in you need to have a job that works, 3 to 4 days a week with weekends off. I want time for me on the weekends that's undivided, aside from, real life emergencies and stuff. I want Valentine's Day because that's important to me. That should be one day for us, barring, like I said, reasonable emergencies and stuff. You need to be, friendly to pets because I live around animals. So on and so on forth down the line, so that you're clear in your definition of what works for you or what would be healthier for you and your demands and needs and wants so that they're met. And if someone is just parroting back to you, or you feel like you're being smoke screened a little bit, or if you're being love bombed, or they quickly change the subject into physical things or sexual things, that tells you something. That tells you something, and please see it for what it is, because then you're not really getting a lot of genuine sincerity, and you can save yourself a lot of heartbreak down the line. In my last relationship, all the red flags were there, and I'm communicating and I'm talking and I'm having this conversation with this person, but they're not really giving me genuine, honest answers because they don't know themselves. But at that time, I didn't know that. And so what they gave me back was exactly what I said I wanted, which is not the same thing. And so in that foray, I got smoke screened, I got smoke bombed, and walked right into a situation that, you know, I shouldn't have. So I'll wrap this up a little bit because this is going into 10 minutes now, and I don't want to eat a lot of folks' time. Be clear about what you want. Get a piece of paper, get a diary, get a therapist, get a counselor, get a friend. Go through and talk about what you actually want out of a relationship, and be precise and be clear about what's flexible and not flexible, what you absolutely need, what maybe you can bend on, and things that you don't bend on. Set your boundaries right from the get go, right from the start, and it'll help you along the way through that dating process. Those first few dates of meeting people when you come out of traumatic situations or come out of traumatic, abusive, ordeals. It's a big step to help you learn to organize thought and to be able to ask for what you want and what you need, and avoid those people out there that want to use and abuse and manipulate. So like I said, I had to kind of chew over that over the weekend, and it was a lot more clear to me today, and so I wanted to share it. um, I'm by no means done with therapy, and I'm by no means done learning, but it was a good step for me, and I'm glad I had it. I'm glad I took it because I realized there's a little bitty flaw of my communication style. So that's something that I can work on going forward. So I'm going to go ahead and settle in for the night, but I just wanted to share that, and y'all um, do good deeds and think good thoughts, and have a good night.